Hi, everyone, and welcome to Basic Gemara Tools, Tikun Olam. Very excited to have everybody here with us. We'll see a lot of familiar faces. So I'd like to explain a little bit today before we start about what the class is all about. So the idea of this class is to help you to gain more confidence in your Gemara learning, whether the class is geared to multiple levels. So that means there might be people here who've never learned Gemara before. You're all invited and welcome. There might be people here who've learned Gemara many times, and everybody will gain something on their level. So I want to be clear that this course is geared to multi-level. For those who are on the Zoom, Maggie will explain how we're going to do the breakout rooms in a way also to try to keep the chavrutot also in similar levels so that people can learn with people at similar levels if that's what you're interested in. If you're interested in learning with anyone at any level, then that's fine too. Because the way the class works is that the sources all appear in their original language and also translated. So if you can handle the original language, I give words and definitions and all that for difficult words. So I would recommend, if you're good with a regular daf of Gemara, use that. If that's hard for you, you can look at on the sheets that Maggie designed so beautifully. You'll have the text of the Gemara as well. If the page of Gemara is too daunting for you. If the language is still too daunting, we have translations of everything. So that way everyone can learn at whatever level they're at. The way the course is going to work is I'm going to give a very short introduction. I'm going to send everybody into breakout rooms for Chavruta. And after Chavruta, we'll have about 20 minutes of Chavruta. And then we'll come back together. I'll review the parts that you learned, and then we'll go back to Chavruta a second time for the second part of class. And the way the class is basically designed, for today, we're going to start with the Mishnah and the Gemara. The Gemara is going to build on the Mishnah, and then a little bit of commentaries, some of Rashi, and we'll see a Meiri. And after that, we're going to then go more in depth into a Tosfot, which is going to compare different Gemaras and show some contradictions, and that will be a little more advanced, the second part of the class. Again, everything translated, and it should be able to be doable. I'll try to go in and out of groups during the Chavruta for those who are here on the Zoom, so that way I can answer some questions. So without any more introduction, we're going to get started. Our topic for these four classes is to take a chapter from the fourth chapter of Gittin. Gittin is all about the laws of get, but it's not only about the laws of get, because in the context of the laws of get, it ends up discussing a number of cases that are get related, which we're going to get to later on in the course. It's not the one we started with. We're going a little bit out of order. Talks about this concept of Tikun Olam. And the way the Mishnayot were originally organized, because the Mishnayot were, at some point, before they were written down, they were transmitted orally, and people memorized them. And therefore, we ended up with sections of the Mishnah, that became connected to each other because of similar language. So what happened was there was a set of Mishnayot that all relate to something called Tikun Olam. Tikun Olam means to fix the world, or to make the world a better place. Okay, we all like that term. It sounds like a great term. And today we're going to see something that the rabbis instituted, mipnei tikun olam, in order to make the world better. And what's interesting about it is you would think that halacha in general is meant to make the world a better place. That's what halacha is all about, right? We have a system of law that's meant to make things better. But sometimes the rabbis came in and said, sometimes things didn't work out exactly the way that they expected them to. And as a result, they needed sometimes to change the halacha based different from either, in certain cases, we'll see it'll be to actually change the halacha. In other cases, it'll be not necessarily a halacha, but to institute some sort of, as we call a takana, which is it's almost like a law, but it's not exactly a law. It's something that the rabbis institute to fix something that needs fixing. And I want you to think today, when you go into Chavruta and start learning about this Tikun Olam, if you think our topic today is redeeming captives, if you think that at first glance, does this look like something that is actually Tikun Olam, or maybe not necessarily? So I want you to think about that as well. And we're going to basically start. I'm going to send you into Chavruta. What you're going to be learning is a section of Mishnah and then two sections of Gemara on it. If you'll see from the sheets, everything's in the chat. If you need it, you can ask again and we'll resend it. And it's also all on the course. In the course, when you register for the course, you then have access to the course, and there all of the sheets are there. Everything is there. So it's all very easily accessible. So open the sources. You'll see there's a PDF of the Gemara itself. There's also sheets that you can fill in on your own. And then there's also, if you want to print it, there's a printable version that doesn't have all the color and all that. That's just a more simple version if you'd like to print it at home and use it like that. So there's a number of different ways that you can access the materials. And as I said, if your Gemara background is good enough that you can actually use the page of Gemara, part of what we're going to learn together is how to punctuate, because the Gemara is a text that was given without any sort of punctuation. And it's sometimes challenging to figure out how to punctuate. And the first step to really learning how to learn Gemara is to punctuate. And you'll see that in the English translation, I just want to explain a little bit about it. I used Sefaria, but I didn't take all the Sefaria because Sefaria adds a lot of extra words to make it easier for you to understand. And I got rid of all those words and tried to stick to the literal translation so that even if you're doing the translation, you'll still get some practice in punctuating. So if you're using it in English, you still need to learn how to punctuate the English, because even the English is not going to be exactly the English the way you might expect it to be. So with that, I will send you into Chavruta. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and we'll try to be as helpful as we can during the Chavruta. And for those who are learning not during Chavruta, you can write to us if you have questions. You can email us at info@hadran.org.il. We'll be happy to help you with whatever you need.